Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Markets with Morning Joe. I am your host, Joe Nasser. Hope all is well. You guys are enjoying your Sunday morning. It is Sunday, March 16th. It's a little after 11 a.m. I'm off to a late start today, but just hanging out, relaxing, enjoying the morning. Hope you guys are as well. Wanted to do a weekly recap of the week that just occurred. It was yet again another a highly turbulent week in the markets. Uh, Very news driven, a lot of chop up and down, very tricky, especially if you're trying to trade, day trade, intraday trading. Um, but it's been fun, very volatile. There's been a lot of ups and downs in between every single day. If I go to if I was to go into an intraday chart like a 10-minute or an hourly, you'd see a lot of chop, in the charts. But I'm going to stick to a daily for now. Starting with the spiders, we ended the week on Friday with a close at 562.81. All right, so it was a nice bounce off of Thursday. Thursday, the markets closed right around 551. Yeah, 551 approximately, and gapped up Friday morning, actually in the overnight. So Friday was a green day, but I'm not convinced we're going straight up from here. We might continue, maybe, depending on what this week looks like. Starting Monday, we might get a bounce up into resistance right around 570. There's quite a bit of resistance here in the 570 area. There's a 200-day moving average right there. If it breaks above that, if it somehow makes it up, maybe we get to 580. But now we're getting into a lot more overhead. And yeah, as you can see, I've got the 20 and the 50-day moving averages right above. So the trend is starting to, it's trending down. Obviously, it's not starting to. I mean, the last 3-4 weeks have been, crazy, downwards. But now there's a lot of resistance, a lot of overhead right here, right? So it's going to take a lot. If the markets were to go higher, it's going to take a lot of good news, to break above, this area right here. So, if we do get above 580, it's going to take a lot of good news. Otherwise, I expect markets to continue downwards. So this coming week is, I believe, options X. I think it's probably should check the calendar, but I think this Friday will be options X, the third Friday. In fact, let me just check the calendar real quick before I quote. Yeah, Friday the 21st. That would be the third week. So options X is a crazy trading week. There's going to be a lot of tricks, a lot of manipulation going on from the institutions, from the lords that control the options. So I expect a lot of volatility this week. And Wednesday, the Fed Chair Powell will be speaking. So that'll be, the market's going to be tuned into that. So there's going to be a lot of up and down craziness. So, I wouldn't be surprised if the markets went up a day or two, up to about 570, maybe 580, and then fall further down. I could be wrong. I see a lot of people on X and some of the strategists, economists, whatever, not economists, but strategists, very successful strategists. They expect the markets to go higher over the next 6 weeks. I don't know how. They think that the bad news is already priced in and it's upside from here. But those people were also saying that we're going to make new highs here. Like this whole time that this market's been chopping up and down, they were expecting the markets to go higher from here. They did not see this whole downtrend coming, and they kept saying buy the dip. So who the hell knows, right? All you can do is follow the markets day by day, and look at the technical support and resistance levels, and that's what I do. So, but again, it's been very tricky, right? So if you look at an hourly chart, there's a lot of chop. I mean, look at this. Basically, Tuesday, Tuesday to Thursday. Look at this. Up, down, down. A little bit of up and down, and then down, up, down, 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 down. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of chop, and the market tries to trick you. So every time you think it's going to go further, it'll bounce and go higher. So you got to be really careful. But overall, I think the trend is down. You can see the moving averages are really pointing down. And if reciprocal tariffs are, taking effect April 2nd, if they actually do take effect, if Trump actually goes through with it, then I don't think that's going to be good for the markets. And I think there's going to be a panic, and the markets will sell further down. Um, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know what kind of good news people are expecting to go higher and make new highs. I don't know, but when there is, I guess, from what I hear, what I understand is if there is a bear market rally, meaning if you're in a bear market and the markets are falling lower, but there's a counter trend rally, those rips to the upside can be very strong. So you could make a huge move up fast, real quick, and cover a lot of points and break through resistance. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of resistance up here, so we'll see what happens. Time will tell. Anyways, let's get into the charts a little bit more. On a daily basis, like I said, I don't think we're going to get much higher than 570, 580. Let's and probably expect another leg lower. In the spiders, in the Qs, we could move a little bit higher up towards about 493. So this parallel channel, I've had this parallel channel for a while, going back to, I can't tell, hang on one second, going back to November of 2022, all right? So if I go to a bigger chart time frame, this whole leg up from basically, the bottom of 22 all the way up, you can see where we have failed, right? So, it's been trading in this parallel channel for a while, for years, right? It goes up to the top right here, it comes back down to the bottom, trades a little sideways in the middle, dips a little bit, goes up top, hits the top of the channel, breaks a little bit above it, comes back down, breaks below. Now, this channel might not be exactly perfect. I guess I could, kind of move it a little bit, but whatever, it's close enough. Actually, here, let me do this a little bit, just a little bit. I suppose right there, okay? Because you can see it taps the bottom here, it taps the bottom here, but now it doesn't really tap the bottom here, so whatever. It's close enough. But if I zoom in a little bit here, we have this week broken below. We are out of that channel, okay? So for markets to break higher to the upside, it's going to take a strong move, because not only are we below the 50-day moving average on a weekly chart, we're below the channel now, all right, and we closed right below. So even if we make a move higher, right, let's say we have a really strong move up, maybe another 20 points in the Qs up to 499, 500. If it's really, really strong, possibly up to 514. I don't think it's going to go up to 5.25. I don't know. I mean, again, everything would have to change drastically in terms of the tariff talks. The war would have to end in Russia. I mean, there would have to be like a ton of great news, to push this market back higher. So that's why I'm a little bit hesitant on where the markets are going. I think we're in for, I mean, look, after fucking 2 years, all right, more, I'm sorry, since COVID, really, since COVID back in 2020, for the last 4 years, this market has gone ridiculously up high to the, to the upside. I mean, it's all stimulus money, and it was all really condensed in tech stocks. So I think it's about time that some of this money, leaves the tech sector and continues down further. So ultimately, my thinking is, and I could be wrong because I was so wrong, back here, and really all of this, I didn't expect all of this to go so high, but ultimately I think it would be right to move back down lower, for the markets to come back down. I would not be surprised to see technology back into the low 400s eventually, eventually, you know, and maybe even lower than that. Who the hell knows? I mean, um, at some point it'll continue to go higher, but I don't know. I mean, there's so much volatility going on in the world right now. I mean, it's tough. So, man, I've been rambling on and on and on for 10 minutes, but that's my kind of view on things. And again, I could be very wrong. I've been a bear. I've had a bearish outlook, really, for these last 2.5 years. Um, so, but that's just because of the people that I followed early on into my, once I started trading and learning about technical analysis and listening to people. Most of the people, along here were very bearish, and the markets just went higher. But really, it wasn't just the markets; it was tech stocks for the most part. Excuse me. Bear with me on that. All right, so that's my take overall in the markets. I still believe semiconductors are going to fall further. They had, um, a pretty good week. Um, they dropped as low as 211, and they had quite a comeback. But you can see on a weekly basis here, it stopped right here at the bottom of this pivot low right here, this red bar low, that wick at 2.25. And there's some resistance here. There's obviously all of this is resistance, and it pretty much ends right here, right? So again, if we do get a very, very strong week or next couple of weeks, we could see the semiconductors make a move higher, get back up to around 240. But I don't think it's going above that. All right. I still expect the move down to at least 197, maybe 200, and then eventually lower. We'll see. We'll see what happens with all of that. And let's get into some Bitcoin talk. All right. So right now, let me go back to a daily. Bitcoin has been trading up this past week. All right, it went down to 76,000 and kind of bottomed out there, and it's been moving upwards all week, and we're into some resistance, right? So it dropped below the 200-day moving average, this yellow line right here, and it's been kind of riding along the 200-day moving average, coming into the 20-day moving average. So there's definitely a lot of resistance here. All of this is now overhead. This leg here, basically from 94, 94.5, or even if I want to measure it from this green wick right here, 95,000, down to this green wick here at 76. That's almost 20,000. Call it 19,000, but we'll call it 20 just to round upwards, right? 20,000. If this thing makes another move up on Monday, up to about 85,000, because that's where it was closing on Friday. This was Friday, yeah. So it closed Friday. Well, it didn't close. It made its way up to 85,000. It closed at 83, 84. But the high is 85,000. So if you take 20,000 from that, I still expect it to come down to 65. All right. Now, it doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't go higher before it goes lower. This could still continue to go higher and make its way back up to maybe 91, 92, but it's coming into the 50-day moving average again. But you can see there's a lot of resistance up here. So I don't think it's going to get, if it does make its way back up for a short term, I think it's going to it will be short-lived and eventually probably go back down, but I don't know if it's going to get there. Michael Saylor has been fucking all over the news, it seems like, everywhere, trying to hype up Bitcoin. I think he knows it's going to crash or go lower. It seems like he just keeps buying. Maybe eventually Michael Saylor will own all the Bitcoin out there, and then when anybody wants to buy it, he controls the price. But I don't know. I mean, this to me looks like a just a bearish pattern, like this move down here, this little bit of move back up, that's bearish. That to me looks like it's going to make another leg down, right? So worst case scenario, it'll fall into 65,000, or maybe it doesn't get to 65,000. Maybe it only goes from 93,000 to 76. So that's um, 17,000, right? So 17,000 less from 85 brings it to about 68. So right in that, I've been saying it forever. 68,000 is kind of my magic number. If it holds, it's probably going to get a big bounce off 68 and maybe rip higher after that. Or if things get really bad, you might get a little bit of a bounce and then, fall back even further lower. Who knows, but that's kind of my take. I kind of have a bearish view on the markets right now. I hate to sound so negative, but uh, I don't know, and I could be wrong. I mean, if things turn around and everything, we get a flood of like positive news, then of course the markets will go higher, right? Well, so we'll see. I guess the right thing to do is just stay tuned and see what happens. That's it. I'm gonna cut this video short. Um, I'm going to do another video of some technical analysis on some of the other charts. So sorry if this video was a little boring for you guys. It's just kind of my overall view on things. So I just wanted to put this out there. But thanks a lot for listening, and have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. Take care.